Welcome to TV16's Live at 5. I'm John Michael Cronin.
And I'm Tajay Gray. Harding University is unveiling a portrait of their fourth president.
And a Little Rock man is dead after a stabbing last night.
Your TV16 news starts right now. A former Harding University president will be honored tomorrow. Chancellor David Burks will have a ceremony and portrait dedicated to him, recognizing his role as the university's fourth president for 26 years. The event will be held tomorrow afternoon at 4 in the Cone Chapel.
The court date for the lawsuit that will determine the distribution method of Act 833 Fire Department funds in White County has changed. The lawsuit was filed by Beebe Mayor Mike Robertson against White County officials to get a legal opinion on Act 833 distribution. Little Rock attorney Eugene Sayre is representing Beebe officials. The trial was originally set for January 27th, but is being moved to February 24th. The proceeding will be held in White County Circuit Court Division 1 in Searcy.
The Searcy Airport Commission is trying to lower costs for the projects at the airport. Civil engineer Bob Chapman says the cost will be just over $500,000 to fix a crack in the runway, repair subsurface drains, and create an access road. The commission has $300,000 from entitlement funds, grants, and is asking the Federal Aviation Administration for $150,000 from another grant. However, the FAA says the commission will not be able to receive it. The commission says they will start work on the access road and subsurface drains.
The search for a Bald Knob man results in the arrest of 3 other suspects. Claiborne County Sheriff's Office reports say Gerald Baugh had escaped deputies during a residential burglary in May. Information led the police to Baugh's mother's house, where he was suspected of staying. Deputies arrested Patricia Newman and Anthony Miles after they found drug paraphernalia during the search. Another tip caused the police to search a hotel in Bald Knob, where Baugh and Jacob James were located and arrested for drug possession.
Voters in Northeast Arkansas will have a special election to replace a state senator. Senator Paul Bookout resigned in August during an ethics investigation. The Democratic nominees for the primary election are Steve Rockwell and Radius Baker, and the Republican nominees are John Cooper and Dan Sullivan. The primary runoff will be held January 14th.
A Phillips County deputy is found dead in his patrol car. Deputy Bobby Nerns was found dead Tuesday morning. According to reports, deputies began looking for Nerns after he responded to an alarm call at 4 in the morning. The investigation is still underway.
And a man is dead after he was stabbed by his girlfriend in Little Rock. Lieutenant Sidney Allen says Marvin Lucas was stabbed by his girlfriend Tiffany Robinson last night. Allen says Robinson drove to Baseline Road and Greer Springs and called 911. The incident is still under investigation.
The Arkansas Supreme Court has upheld the murder conviction of a Newport man in the death of his son. The court rejected a claim that a juror was removed from the case without justification. The state Supreme Court found there was a clear justification for removal because the juror violated the judge's order not to speak with any of the attorneys. Richard Ingram was convicted of capital murder and sentenced to life in prison with parole for the death of Demarius Thomas.
2 people face felony charges for vandalism of a sports complex in Benton, Arkansas. The Benton Police Department has arrested Nicholas McCutcheon in connection to the crime. Investigators also discovered Ricky McConnell is also involved in the vandalism. Both suspects have been charged with 1 count of felony criminal mischief, 2 counts of misdemeanor criminal mischief, and 1 count of breaking and entering. The 2 have been taken to the Saline County Detention Facility, and the Benton Police Department says the investigation is ongoing.
Stolen dogs in Izard County are believed to be sold to a research lab. Another dog has been stolen in Izard County, and authorities say they believe whoever is stealing the animals is selling them to a research lab. The Izard County Sheriff Tate Lawrence says someone has been taking small breed dogs. According to KAIT, as many as 7 animals have been taken. Investigators are still looking for suspects.
The attorney for the town of Alexander, Arkansas is threatening legal action if a fire truck is not returned. The truck was repossessed in October over a bank loan issue. Officials say the bank is not willing to return the fire truck, and the city still owes over $6,000 on the truck, but the city is said to be current on its payments. And an elementary school in Heber Springs is reopened after closing because of confirmed cases of the whooping cough last week. The school has confirmed 5 cases of the cough and closed for sanitation. The disease has recovery period of 5 days and classes resumed today.
Coming up after the break, the FBI is asking for help finding a suspected sex offender.
And the U.S. theme park is appealing a federal ruling.
But first, a look at your weather with Kaylee Evans. Kaylee?
Thanks, John Michael. Coming up after the break, we're going to be discussing the cold day we've had today and the cold day we'll also be having tomorrow. But luckily for us, that cold day is also going to be coming with a lot of sunshine. Aside from that, we're also going to be discussing the weekend rain that we should be getting. All of that for you and more after this break.
Be free. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad. Nice, Dad.
Charles!
Nice, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are. Welcome to Fogels.
Beautiful, isn't it?
You expect options everywhere else. Why not with your medical treatment? Talk with your doctor to explore all your options and find what's right for you. Visit ahrq.gov.
We are this close.
We are this close
Of uncertainty.
to making history. This close to changing the world.
We are this close.
We're this close.
This close
So be kind
to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease.
Ever again.
We are this close to ending polio.
Close to ending polio.
All we need is you.
This close.
Be a part of history.
Movement. Along with weight loss, it's one of the many ways to fight osteoarthritis pain. For more information on managing pain, go to fightarthritispain.org.
And welcome back. Our current temperature, Cersei, right now is about 42 degrees, and the winds have slowed down from about the 21 miles per hour they were earlier today to a slower 8 miles per hour, and those are coming in from the northeast. Our humidity levels right now are at about 44%. Our dew point came in at 17 degrees, and the sun should set at about 5:03. Now, if we're looking today in the almanac, today in Cersei we're having a low of 20. We had a high of 44 that we did reach, though it was very brief. Now, on average, this day in Cersei has a low of 45 and a high of 63. Last year on this day, we had a low of 32 and a high of 54, so we are well under average right now, but I'm not complaining. And as for what we're seeing in the surface map, as you can see, the cold front that we were seeing yesterday has swept through us, and it is reaching down to the more southern states, or to the southern borders of the southern states. There is a bit of a high pressure system up around Kansas, so they're getting higher winds than normal, but those are not going to be affecting us. Now, for our state temperatures, right now we're seeing temperatures about 40, 41 up in Fayetteville, Harrison, and Mount Home, 43 in West Memphis and Jonesboro. It is 48 in Little Rock and in Monticello, 49 in El Dorado. Texarkana took the high at 55, and those northwestern cities up there are taking the lows. For our White County temperatures, we are seeing a lot of what we're seeing right now, 42 in Judsonia, also 44 in Bradford, 45 in 46 in Pangburn and in Georgetown, and then it's 43 in McRae. Now, for what we're going to be seeing this evening going by the hour. At 6 p.m., it should be about what it is now. Though there should be a few clouds out in front of that moon, temperature should be about 35, so it's dropping quite a bit, about 7 degrees from what we're seeing right now. Now, at 9 p.m., it should be about 31, and those clouds that we were seeing earlier should have disappeared. Those clouds should not be returning at all for a couple more days, so giving us a very clear evening, and at midnight, it should be about 27. The The low that we should be expecting tonight is 20 degrees, with winds coming in at 4 miles per hour. And with that 20 degrees being well under the 32 degrees, there is a freeze warning, and it will freeze tonight. So be very careful if you're traveling on roads, or if you're going to be leaving early tomorrow morning. Make sure you go out and heat up your car before you go. Please do not put warm water on your car windows. Also, that could cause the glass to break. And for what we're going to be seeing tomorrow we do have a high of 46 and winds at 3 miles per hour, so much less windy than what we're seeing today. It'll be a very cold morning. We're not looking to see temperatures in the 40s until around 11 p.m., but it will be mostly sunny and as I said, there will be low winds. Now, I'll have your five-day forecast later on today's broadcast, but first back to the desk with Tajay.
Thanks, Kaylee. The Philippines president is now saying a well-publicized estimated death toll of 10,000 people is too much. The president spoke with CNN today and says the high estimate came from local officials who were too close to the center of destruction to make an accurate guess.
10,000, I think, is too much, and perhaps that was also brought about by, how should I put it, being in the center of the destruction, there was emotional trauma involved with that particular estimate, quoting both a police official and a local government official. They were too close to the incident. They didn't have basis for it. 2,000, the figure right now I have is about 2,000, but this might still get higher. We're hoping to be able to contact something like 29 municipalities left, wherein we still have to establish their numbers, especially for the missing. But so far, 2,000 to about 2,500 is the figure we're working on as far as deaths are concerned.
Typhoon Haiyan made landfall on 6 Philippine islands last week, leaving many without access to food and medical care. The United Nations says at least 800,000 people have been displaced.
The FBI is asking for help finding a man suspected of child exploitation and sexual abuse of a minor. The FBI says the man is only known as John Doe 27 and was discovered after the National Center for Missing Children and Exploited Children found video of him engaging in sexual activities with a child. The identity and location of the man is unknown, but the FBI says video audio shows he may speak with a southern accent and call himself Jimmy. He is most likely between the ages of 40 and 50 with brown hair, gray sideburns, and a bald spot. He also wears glasses and a ring on his right ring finger. The FBI says the chair seen in the picture is taken from a photo or video inside a residence, and they hope it will be recognized by someone who knows the suspect or victim. Anyone with any information is asked to call the FBI's toll-free tip line.
Enrollment numbers for the Obamacare rollout are beginning to surface. According to the Wall Street Journal, fewer than 50,000 Americans have successfully enrolled through the federal site, but they note these numbers do not include those who have enrolled in state exchanges. CNN reports.
It's the number that has all of Washington on the edge of their seats. Just how many Americans have signed up for Obamacare in October, the first month of enrollment?
Take it from me, they'll be low in October.
Administration officials have cautioned, don't get too excited.
I can tell you our early enrollment numbers are going to be very low.
In the insurance marketplaces run by the federal government, the Wall Street Journal reports roughly 50,000 people signed up in October. CNN estimates another 60,000 have enrolled in the marketplaces run by states, which means the troubled program has a lot of catching up to do to meet the administration's target of 800,000 by the end of November. A Health and Human Services spokeswoman says the department cannot confirm these numbers. We have always anticipated that initial enrollment numbers would be low and increase over time. The main culprit, the bug-riddled Obamacare website, a problem the president has said he would take care of himself if he could.
I wanted to go in and fix it myself, but I don't write code, so.
Besides the site's technical problems, there were apparently security concerns with healthcare.gov before its launch. This internal Obamacare memo dated September 3rd, released by House Republicans, reveals administration officials were worried about the possibility that the website's security controls are ineffective. But that problem was never shared with Henry Chow, a top official at the agency developing the site. Chow was asked by House Oversight Committee staffers, "You were being excluded from finding out about significant problems with security?" Chow replied, "It is disturbing." GOP leaders vow to make all of Obamacare's mishaps a key issue in next year's elections.
This
issue is going to be toxic for the Democrats, and believe me, we will tattoo it to their foreheads in 2014.
Officials plan to release their own figures this week.
Aquatic theme park SeaWorld is appealing a federal ruling preventing its trainers from getting into the water with killer whales during performances. CNN has more on the case.
The 2010 death of veteran SeaWorld trainer Dawn Brancheau brought an end to breathtaking performances like these. Brancheau was mauled by the killer whale she was working with. She was the third death connected to the same killer whale.
All of a sudden, the whale just latched onto her and took her under.
The Occupational Safety Health Administration ultimately fined SeaWorld $12,000. That's a drop in the whale pool for a company that pulls in $1.5 billion a year. But OSHA also prohibited SeaWorld trainers from getting into the water with its killer whales. That was a showstopper. So, SeaWorld's appealing, and the case centers on something called the General Duty Clause, which essentially says employers have to provide a workplace free from recognized hazards. A known hazard, I guess, is kind of the key here.
That it really is, yes.
Benjamin Briggs has argued corporate appeals to OSHA rulings. He believes SeaWorld will say interaction between humans and killer whales is essential to their business. In other words, part of the magic. Is that a legitimate argument?
I think it is a legitimate argument. Again, they're taking the position that this isn't just the way that we do work. It's our product.
SeaWorld says it's gone to great lengths to control the risk to its trainers, but can't eliminate the danger completely and shouldn't have to, saying OSHA has no more right to impede SeaWorld's business any more than they could demand speed limits for NASCAR.
SeaWorld has hired the Labor Department's former top lawyer, Eugene Scalia, to argue on their behalf. Scalia is also the son of Supreme Court Justice Antonin Scalia.
One World Trade Center in New York City will be America's tallest building when completed. An announcement today by the Council on Tall Buildings and Urban Habitat says the completed World Trade Center will beat out Chicago's Willis Tower, formerly known as Sears Tower. The independent organization certifies the official height of skyscrapers and acknowledges record-setting buildings. The Council's Height Committee met on Friday to rule on One World Trade Center's stature. The tower stands at just under 2,000 feet tall.
A veteran in Utah could get the chance to snowboard at the Olympics, even after he suffered an injury in Afghanistan that nearly took both of his legs. CNN has the story.
Burdick, an Olympic hopeful from Salt Lake City. This avid snowboarder has a legit shot at making Team USA for the Paralympic team.
It shattered my feet and my lower legs.
Tyler was in Afghanistan in 2010, serving his third deployment as a Marine. He had just 1 week left.
We were conducting mounted patrol. We were in some armored vehicles.
There was word that a bomb was hidden on the road ahead. Tyler's unit couldn't find it, but it found them. Here's what was left of the armored vehicle he was riding in.
Nobody was killed, luckily. Everybody in the cab was knocked out, except for me. I somehow am blessed with the memory of all of it.
Tyler was medevaced back to the United States, where doctors worked to salvage his legs and feet.
So my feet were completely shattered and my ankles were fused, and this brace allows me to shift my weight onto my forefoot.
3 years removed from that fateful day, Tyler's back on his feet, doing something he loves.
So I decided that, if I was able to get back on a snowboard, then I would consider myself recovered, and I wouldn't feel disabled anymore.
Earlier this year, Tyler earned a silver medal at the Paralympics National Championships. Now he's competing to secure a spot on Team USA to represent the U.S. in Russia next March.
I can't even believe it's happening.
And Matt Chaffin is here with us. Matt, tell us exactly what the Rhodes Rowdies will be up to tonight at 11.
Well, everyone knows last year's very well publicized. The Rhodes Fieldhouse was named Best Road Trip Destination in all college basketball. And, well, when you get that name, you have to practice and you have to really keep that reputation. So tonight there's going to be a Rhodes run-through for all of the Rowdies. We'll talk about that after the break.
Packers. Viking. Packer. Viking. Viking.
Red state. Blue state. Vegan.
Carnivore.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
Optimist.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full. But when we live united, we create real, lasting change in the building blocks of life. The education, income, and health of our communities, our families,
United.
even the person next to us.
Live united.
Real change won't happen without you. So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up at liveunited.org.
I'm a big believer in the power of we. We can tackle the tough challenges we face and build community through service and volunteering. It's time for you to raise your hand. Go to serve.gov and get involved in something you believe in.
How will you raise your hand when they call your name?
Are you with me?
We weren't born to follow.
Welcome home, man.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
Volleyball. It's been a topic that has been fresh on the minds of the Harding faithful for the past few months. Granted, 30 consecutive conference wins has its way of grabbing people's attention. However, the season is quickly approaching its end as the Lady Bisons have already played in their final home match of the year, but they do still have one more match to play this season. That's going to be over in Monticello on Thursday as they're going to take on the Cotton Blossoms. While the season is slowing down to a ceasing halt, the awards that are finding their way into Searcy are still flowing in pretty steadily. This time it's junior Liv Savage, who is now the 5th different Lady Bison to be awarded a Player of the Week award in the GAC. She was pretty feisty on the hard court last week as she helped Harding clinch their second straight regular season conference title and the top seed in the GAC tournament that's going to be over in Hot Springs later this month. So while Liv Savage received the Offensive Player of the Week award for her big hits on the hard court, out on the turf, it was senior defensive lineman Daniel Riley who had a few big hits of his own as he reeled in the Defensive Player of the Week award for football in the GAC. Riley's been making opposing offenses think twice about running the ball his way all season, but mostly in the past few games. Rightly so, however, as Mr. Riley had 2.5 sacks on Saturday, which moved his season total to 9 sacks. 6.5 of those, though, have come in his last 3 games. Riley might have gotten the individual award this week, but it was the entire Harding front 7 that wrecked the East Central offense on Saturday, as they set a school record for 10 sacks and 19 tackles for loss. So suffice to say, the entire Harding defense was doing their best Black Knight impression, as none did pass the line of scrimmage the entire game, a whopping negative 21 rushing yards on the entire game. On the flip side, Harding did have a pretty successful rushing attack. They ran for 300 yards in the game. So the home schedule might be over for the Bisons, but they will still have one more game to go. That's going to be on the road in Russellville this weekend, as they'll also take their bowl bid on the road with them, as a win against Arkansas Tech could mean that the seniors are going to have one more game to put it all out on the field. And while the football season and volleyball season have come to a halt, basically, the tip-off for the 2013 basketball season on the Harding campus is sitting at 48 hours away. But in just about 6 hours, the Rhodes Fieldhouse is going to be filled to capacity as the Rhodes Rowdies and the rest of the Harding faithful are going to get their vocal cords loosened up with the Rowdy Run-Through. Last season, the Rhodes earned a very well-publicized title of Best College Basketball Destination for the Rowdies' unique presence in a very unique building, as the Rhodes Fieldhouse used to be a former airplane hangar. Now it's time to shake off the rust and get every left, right, and left in unison. Doors are going to open at 10:45 over at the Rhodes, as all the yelling, cheering, and chants are going to start right about 11. And while the Razorback football team was mathematically eliminated from the bowl season last week after a close game with Ole Miss, there is still some good news somehow coming out of Fayetteville. Usually when your offense struggles to move the ball, you're going to be forced to punt it, which happened to the Hogs this season a lot. That is why Arkansas junior snapper Alan D'Apollonio was named as a nominee for the Burlsworth Trophy today. D'Apollonio has been perfect in snaps this season, as he's been in charge of snaps on all of the extra points, all the field goals, and the punts, mostly punts this season. He's even become the first ever snapper to be named a weekly winner of the weekly awards for Player of the Week in the SEC ever since they started giving it to special teams players in 2002. The Hogs are going to have this weekend off before they wrap up their last 2 games of the year against Mississippi State and LSU. That's all I have for you right here at the sports desk. So we'll go back over to the news desk with Tajay and John Michael.
Thanks, Matt. Coming up after the break, we'll have one last look at your weather with Kaylee Evans.
Stay with us.
Hungry? Yeah. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today.
Healing takes time. It also takes knowledge and expertise. Here we learn to reach out to and care for others through the application of medicine and true compassion. We understand that our mission is to take our training and abilities out into the world where they can and do heal the lives of others. For us, that mission began in a place of faith, learning, and living. Harding University.
And now, another adventure with Savings Man.
Oh dear, I can't afford that.
Charge it. You can pay it off later.
Not so fast, credit card guy.
Savings Man.
Don't let him entice you, ma'am. Credit card guy can lead you to big trouble. You need a savings plan.
You're right, Savings Man.
Get this ballpark estimate worksheet at choosetosave.org. It will help you get started.
Gee, thanks, Savings Man.
No, thank you.
So visit choosetosave.org and get your ballpark estimate today.
All right, guys, we gotta be smarter about what we bite on, okay? I want everyone to go outside. We're gonna run Red Rover on 3.
What about you, Tony?
I'm gonna run around circles, flatten my arms, and make engine noises like this.
When it comes to playing, we kids are the pros.
We're eating right, too.
We fuel up.
To play 60!
If your school doesn't have a program, be a leader. Start one.
Click today and join the movement.
A volcano in Italy erupts and a couple finds $98,000 in a desk they bought on Craigslist.
CNN has today's Take a Look at This.
Take a look at this spectacular fire show produced by eruptions of Europe's highest volcano, Italy's Mount Etna. The red lava spewing from the volcano began Sunday, and smoldering smoke and ash could still be seen Monday over Sicily. Trouble seeing the lines on the road? Well, take a look at what some Tennesseans were seeing on their roadway. Yep, that's yard debris along a Memphis street, where a road crew painted a white road stripe right over the brush. Well, before you call the crew lazy, they were following city policy for the safety of workers on large road convoys who work these roads. Another smaller crew came back to redo the paint job.
We open it up and it's full of cash. We count it up, and there's $98,000 cash sitting in the bag.
That was the discovery behind a drawer of a desk bought off Craigslist for $200 by a Connecticut rabbi and his wife. The couple found the money after pulling the desk apart to fit through a door in their house. The bag of cash was the inheritance of the previous owner, who stashed the cash, forgetting where she put it. The rabbi returned the money, and the desk owner refunded the price of the desk. For Take a Look at This, I'm Sunlin Sarfati.
And now for one last look at your weather, starting with a quick review of what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. There is a high of about 42, but now a look at your whole 5-day forecast to see exactly what we're going to be seeing. Tomorrow does have a low of 26, so that is also a freeze warning, just like what we're seeing tonight, as does Thursday night, which has a low of 28. But Thursday does have a high almost about 50. We're at 47, jumping up about 5 degrees from what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. And then it's looking like a little bit of rain. We'll have more of that tomorrow. That's all I have for your weather.
Thanks for watching Live at 5 for all your news, weather, and sports.
And remember, watch us anytime, anywhere on the link at streaming.hardin.edu. Have a great night.